Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. Hi, everyone. It's Patrick. I'm back today. I'm in the seat. Joe is in transport. He is on his way back to Colorado. So everything's going well with him. He will be on the ground at some point this afternoon and back in the chair tomorrow. So you got me for one more day. One more day. Hope you don't mind it. I enjoy doing this. I hope you guys enjoy hearing me as well. Today we got, smell that? Oh yeah, I smell that. That's the stench. That's the rot. That's the stench of the swamp that is just spreading throughout this country. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is just the stench of the swamp, the rot of Washington, D.C., just exploding. It is becoming more and more apparent day after day how rotted we are, how captured we are. And it's the truth. It really is the truth, especially with this latest breaking Epstein saga that's going on with the transparency bill being signed into law by President Trump. He kind of was taking a victory lap about it. You know, he campaigned on this. He campaigned on it hard. And somehow it took 10 months of him being in office to finally get something done on this. I don't know. He called it a hoax at some point, said it's real, we got to get it out, but no, it really didn't happen. Oh, the Democrats involved, not really. I don't know. But the stench is real. A man that has campaigned and ran on exposing the swamp, releasing the Epstein Files. They're finally coming out. A basic unanimous vote in the House and Senate has it coming out. There's just one no vote across the board. But, you know, it caused a rift in MAGA. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey getting attacked. Apparently they're going to be getting primaried, specifically by AIPAC challengers, right? So, like, that stench, woof. It is brutal. All right. But we're gonna talk about that because there's a lot here. There's a lot here with all this coming to light that finally the Epstein the Epstein files are gonna be opened up and we're gonna be able to see behind the curtain, this, that, and the other thing. We'll see. Well, let's put this truth up that Trump announced actually last night. He said, Jeffrey Epstein, who was charged by the Trump Justice Department in 2019, not the Democrats, was a lifelong Democrat, donated thousands of dollars to Democrat politicians, and was deeply associated with many well-known Democratic figures, such as Bill Clinton, who traveled on his plane 26 times, Larry Summers, who just resigned from many boards, including Harvard. We're going to talk about that today. Sleazebag political activist Reid Hoffman, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who asked Epstein to donate to his campaign after Epstein was charged. Democrat Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, and many more. Perhaps the truth about these Democrats and their associations with Jeffrey Epstein will soon be revealed. But I have just signed the bill to release the Epstein files. As everyone knows, I asked Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune to pass this bill in the House and Senate respectively. Because of this request, the votes were almost unanimous in favor of passage. At my direction, the Department of Justice has already turned over close to 50,000 pages of documents to Congress. Do not forget, the Biden administration did not turn over a single file or page related to Democrat Epstein, nor did they ever speak about him. Democrats have used the Epstein issue, which affects them far more than the Republican Party, in order to try and distract from our amazing victories, including the great, big, beautiful tax cut bill, strong borders, no men and women sports or transgender for everyone, ending DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, lowering prices, biggest tax and regulation cuts in history, ending 8 wars, rebuilding our military, knocking out Iran's nuclear capability, getting trillions of dollars invested in the USA, creating the hottest country anywhere in the world, and even delivering a huge defeat to the Democrats on the recent shutdown disaster. For years, our great nation has had to endure Russia, Russia, Ukraine, Ukraine, impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, and many other Democrat-created witch hunts and scams, all of which have been so terrible and divisive for our country, and have been done to confuse, deflect, and distract from the great job that Republicans and the Trump administration are doing. This latest hoax will backfire on the Democrats just as well all of the rest have. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. President Donald J. Trump on the matter. I don't understand why it's all political. I don't understand why it's all political. Epstein was a well-known sex trafficker. Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail for related crimes to what he was doing. So why is this all political? You had young females being sexually trafficked to wealthy, affluent politicians, political figures, wealthy elitists for years. And we're talking about Democrats this, Republicans that, Democrat. How about doing the right thing? How about doing the right thing? Nope, because the stench of the swamp. Can't do the right thing ever. Can't do the right thing for the American people ever. And Trump is taking the acknowledgement that, hey, we're doing the right thing. We're doing this, right? Okay, hold on a second. The DOJ has 30 days to release the names, right? They got 30 days to put the full report out. Redacted, unredacted. Who knows what that's going to look like, right? Because we're going to play a clip in a second with Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson was speaking yesterday in regards to this vote coming and the release of the Epstein Files, and he cautioned about why these Epstein Files possibly shouldn't be released. It's absolutely amazing when you hear what they're saying. Our government is more concerned about protecting the perpetrators than the actual victims. Okay, let's play cut 2, please.
All right. Number 5, national security concerns, okay? The discharge requires the Attorney General to release within 30 days, quote, classified information to the maximum extent possible. This ignores the principle that declassification should always rest, and always has rested, with the agency that originated the intelligence. Why? So that they can protect their critical sources and methods. It is incredibly dangerous to demand that officials or employees of the DOJ declassify materials that originated in other agencies, in intelligence agencies.
What does national security have to do with releasing the information about this, the Epstein case, about the sex trafficking of minors? Especially when you have victims calling for this information to be released. The ones that were the victims, the ones that were hurt, the ones whose lives have been ripped apart, traumatized, destroyed. They're the ones calling for, put this out there, put this out there, put this out there. Why? Why is national security tied to this? How is national security tied to this? I'll tell you how. Our government officials are compromised. Our government officials are compromised because of the Epstein Files. Their donors are compromised. They're caught. It is well known Jeffrey Epstein videotaped and recorded interactions in his apartment, on his island, in his jets, on his yachts, you name it. He had it. He has the goods. He set people up. He trapped them. He blackmailed them. Here we are. That's why it's so hard to get the truth out. That's why it's so hard for the truth to come out. Because those that are in charge are compromised. The stench of the swamp. The stench of the swamp. And how is it political? How is it Democrats this, Republicans this, Democrats this, Republicans this, national security? What, was Epstein making bombs? Was Epstein planning massive attacks? No. The national security implications is once the American people hear who is involved, what they did, and what positions of power they had, the American people are going to erupt. And the longer they keep this under wraps, the more the pressure builds, the uglier it's going to look when it actually comes to light. You know, it's so bad that you have the survivors. You have the survivors from the Epstein Files coming together and making videos and going on the record and making recordings, begging for this information to come out, begging to be spoken to by the president. Why are these people having to beg so hard for the truth to come out? Why is it? It's like moving a freaking boulder up a mountain, which doesn't make any sense, because at the heart of it, these girls, these women now were sexually abused as young teenagers, and we can't actually be truthful about it because the corruption is that deep. The swamp is that deep. The swamp does not care. The swamp does not want this out, because then they might actually have to answer for some of the things they did in the past. But take a look at this next cut we're going to play. It's an actual commercial cut by Epstein survivors calling on Congress to release the Epstein files. You can't make this up. Like, that's how bad it is. That you have women that were sexually abused, sexually trafficked, calling and pleading for the release of the information so that those that hurt them, those that harmed them, those that abused them can finally face justice. And our Department of Justice and our Congress is going, national security measures, We had our President of the United States months ago calling this a hoax. Okay? Legitimately, he called it a hoax. So what is going on here? Cut 3, please. Here are the survivors.
I suffered so much pain.
So much pain.
So much pain.
I suffered so much pain. I was 14 years old.
I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17.
14 years old.
This is me.
This was me.
This is me.
When I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
There are about 1,000 of us.
It's time to bring the secrets out of the shadows. It's time to shine a light into the darkness.
That video gave me chills. And I saw that, I put that video in here. So I've watched that video a handful of times already. It gives me chills. Right? Did you see that caption? Put it, 5 administrations later, we're still here. How? What is that, 20 years? But we're still here. 14, 15, 17-year-old females being sex trafficked, sexually abused. Our government knows about it. Our government continues to cover it up. Stench is real. Stench is real. You had Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey calling Trump and the administration to the carpet recently about releasing these files. According to Marjorie Taylor Greene, that was the breaking of the camel's back with her relationship with Trump. According to her, that's what finally had Trump break from her. That she was pressuring for these files to be released and he wasn't ready to do it for whatever reason. For whatever reason, we can draw our own conclusions from that, right? We don't know the information he knows. I know what I see. Hopefully you know what you see. Hopefully you're logic and you can draw your own conclusions from it. But before the vote on the House yesterday, Marjorie Taylor Greene took to the mic and promised, I'm going to read these names. Everyone's going to hear this. We're going to open up the floodgates. She has had it. She has had it. And her thanks she gets for pushing this is she has been called a traitor. She has been, I believe Trump and AIPAC are looking to primary her, or at least AIPAC is. I shouldn't say Trump, but I know Trump doesn't like Marjorie Taylor Greene anymore. He is withdrawing his endorsement for her, from her. So yeah, it's just amazing that one of the originators, one of the founding members of the MAGA movement has been outcasted from MAGA because of her pressure on the Epstein Files. She tweeted about it. She wrote it herself. It's on her X post. So feel free to take a look at it. It's there. We covered it yesterday. I'm pretty sure we covered that yesterday. But before the vote yesterday, Marjorie Taylor Greene took to the floor, and let's take a listen to what she had to say on the House floor, promising to make sure these names are heard.
Are sick of, and rightfully so. Now, where does this go from here? The question will remain, will the Department of Justice release all the information? Will a judge in New York release the information? Will the CIA release the information? And will foreign governments release their information? Or will this continue after this vote today, be a cover-up? A cover-up of the rich, powerful elites that bond together in sex and human trafficking abuse and all types of global business that enriches them but never serves Americans. The American people will know, and the victims, actually the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, will know because they know the list of names. And I remain dedicated to my promise to read those names here on the House floor if those women ever find them in a place that it needs to be done. I yield back to Mr.
Gentlelady from Georgia yields back. Gentleman from...
Yeah, and she's right. She wants full disclosure. Who are you? Who are you masked puppeteers? And the sad part is we probably know who they all are. We see them all the time. They're on social media, they're on TV, they're in movies, right? But we just need the names. We need the names. They're in political office. They're in Congress. They're in state houses. They're in embassies, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene wants this out there. The American people want it out here. Enough's enough. And every time you tell us no, or no, we got to do this, we got to do it, it just makes it bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's the thing. Why can't we know? Why can't we know? Why can't we know those that have been collecting tax money from us have also been sex trafficking kids? Why can't we know that? Why can't we know that those that have been collecting government perks have also been sexually abusing kids? And that they're actually still in positions of power today, or actually still in colleges today teaching? Why can't we know this? We have a right to know. But they treat us like we're idiots. They treat us like we don't have rights to know. They treat us like we don't matter. And it keeps going on and on and on. And where does that leave us? Where does that leave us as America? How does that leave you? How does that make you feel? I'm beyond frustrated. I'm beyond frustrated with what's going on in this country. Which if you asked me a year ago, right before Thanksgiving, what I think is going to happen in this country over the next 4 years of Donald Trump, I would not have believed I would be in this position I'm in a year later. Would not have. But here we are. MAGA is splintered, if not fractured forever. I believe it's fractured forever. I don't think there's going back. I think it's been pretty much ripped apart from inside. The swamp just get you. And what's really gonna really suck about all this at the end of it is that nothing's really gonna change and the American people are just gonna get shitted on again. You know? Like, that's just all it is. Nothing ever changes. People build up hope. People believe in politicians, believe in agendas, believe in their political platforms. Nope, get shitted on. Typically only happens to the people on the right, though, it seems like. Like, the people on the left, when they get in, they get what they want. So it's just us, the useful idiots on the right, the ones who believe in the better good of people, the ones that want to believe our political leaders will make the right choices, that ones that still want to do things the right way by the Constitution, legally, right? Us, we're the ones who suck. We're the ones who get shitted on. We're the ones who get defamed. We're the ones who get stomped on. We're the ones who get told it doesn't matter, keep it pushing, right? Because that's what it is. We are the ones that constantly get reminded by those up top that we simply don't matter. You do not have the right to know this information. You do not have the right to know anything. Charlie Kirk shooting? No, get out of here. That furry on top of that building from 200 yards out, 4 stories up, hit that perfect shot, got him right in the jugular. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me to look somewhere else now. No, I'm telling you, it was the furry one up there. It was the furry guy. He did it. And if you think someone else did, if you think another country was behind that, no, that didn't happen. Shut up and sit down. We'll let you know. Didn't you hear Erica Kirk already forgave him? Right, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. Don't look here. Doesn't matter about this Egyptian military plane that's been linked. Doesn't matter about the questions that Nick Fuentes or Candace Owens have been able to kind of connect dots with that make it seem there could be other. No, shut up, sit down. End of story. Charlie Kirk was killed by a tranny-loving tranning furry. End of story. He never shot a gun, but he was able to pull off that perfect shot. Right? They just keep thinking we're idiots. Where's the information from the Butler shooting? That's another one that blows my mind. Like, legitimately, that took a piece off of President Trump's ear, allegedly. But where's the information on this guy? You don't care to get this information out to the American public? How did he get to where he was? How did this happen in Butler? Where is this information? Stench is real. Is it possible he was part of some CIA MK Ultra planning along with the furry on top of the roof over at UVU? Is that all possible? Makes it seem that way when they don't tell you anything. You know, if it's not true, give me the evidence to show me that it's not true. Don't tell us we're crazy. Don't tell this person's an idiot. Don't have other cronies going on media platforms saying we need to deplatform those that aren't agreeing with us. Shut the hell up. This is still America. And we're reaching a boiling point. The people in America are just fed up, left, right, center. We're all pissed all the time. How is that possible? Because our interests are not coming first. That's why. Truth is not coming first. American people not coming first. Love of country not coming first. You know what comes first? What your donors want. What powerful elitists want. What those that have the blackmail want. That's who gets what they want. And they want more for them, less for you, and that's just how it goes. The stench of the swamp is overwhelming. You know, kind of thought that it would die down after Trump got in. Doesn't seem like that. It's just every which way. And I have a hard time believing Trump in his first presidency was so in tune with the people, right? Engaged on, knew what the people wanted, knew what the people wanted to hear, right? So he's now disconnected this time around. He doesn't see how angry his base is. He doesn't see how frustrated his people are. Are we to believe he's not in tune with the American people anymore? Or is he being gatekept? Susie Wiles, is she gatekeeping him in the White House? I think it's impossible to gatekeep Trump, at least from at least what I've seen over the past 10, 15, 30 years of that dude's life. It seems like it's very tough to gatekeep him, but if she's gatekeeping him, holy cow, she is amazing. He also put out we're going to put this in the show tomorrow at some point, but he actually shouted her out in one of his speeches recently, calling her pretty much the most powerful person in the world. So that is something else that really she could wipe out a country, he said. So that is something else we need to really think about. Like, how can somebody, who? Susie Wiles, his top advisor, has the power to wipe out countries. He doesn't have the power to do that, but she can. Woof. Interesting statement the president made. Interesting statement he made. So, with this vote passing and Trump signing it, Trump admitted that he signed it, so we have 30 days for all this stuff to get out there. Well, the fallout's starting to happen already. Larry Summers is one of the first ones to take a bullet. Well, I shouldn't say take the fall. He's not taking a bullet. He's taking a fall. He used to be the U.S. Treasury of Secretary for none other than Mr. Schwab, Bill Clinton. Saxophone playing, doobie smoking, full hair lock, Willie Boy Clinton. One of the coolest cats ever. Let's not forget Bill Clinton's name is allegedly all tied up to the flight logs and Epstein Island visits, Monica Lewinsky, Paula Jones, right? He's got a long list. So yeah. But Larry Summers, one of the first ones taking a fall. Let's play cut 5.
Extensive correspondence between the former Treasury Secretary under former President Bill Clinton, he's also the former Harvard president, and Epstein, including the most recent message on, I think it was the day before Epstein was arrested in 2019. And so at this point now, you are seeing some of the fallout envelop Larry Summers. He has now stepped down from the board of OpenAI, for example. Harvard's student newspaper, The Crimson, reports that Harvard is opening an investigation into the ties between Epstein and Summers. Summers himself has said he deeply regrets the association and the correspondence, essentially, and that at this point, Zinkley and Kate, he is stepping back from his public commitments right now.
You know, typically you step back when you don't do anything wrong. Typically you go into hiding and step down from boards and stuff. You know, you go into hiding because you've done nothing wrong. Oh, yeah. This dude, Larry Summers, is also a professor at Harvard, and he actually addressed this to his Harvard class, and we actually got that cut as well. We'll play that in a second. But, yeah, he was in with Bill Clinton. Yeah, he's at Harvard. Swamp. Still protected, still working. Harvard's now launching an investigation. Okay. But this dude still thinks he should be teaching somehow. Cut 6, please.
Some of you will have seen my statement of regret, expressing my shame with respect to what I did in communication with Mr. Epstein, and that I've said that I'm going to step back from public activities for a time, but I think it's very important to fulfill my teaching obligations. And so, with your permission, we're going to go forward and talk about the material in the class.
So there you go. I'm still going to teach, though. I'm stepping back from public life. I regret my communications with Epstein, but I still think I have a right to teach here. All right. And Harvard, where are you? Oh, we're launching an investigation. All right, so put his ass out. Leave time. Boom. Put him on paid leave. Get him out of a classroom. Not that hard. He'll still get a paycheck. You guys got billions of dollars. You got all out tax money. You get your endowments. You got money to throw at this problem for yourself. But no, make sure he's still in the classroom. But teaching is, I'm still here to teach. You know, that $80,000 a year tuition. I'm still here to teach you guys. And Harvard's, he's still in the freaking classroom. Unbelievable. Guy has stepped down from the board of OpenAI. Why is he stepping down from the board of OpenAI? Why? Why does he feel it's appropriate to step down from the board of OpenAI, but it's not appropriate to step out of a classroom in college? Why is there no difference there? Why is there no difference? Because he's still got to carry his mission out inside the classrooms. Mind warping the kids at Harvard. Feeding them the bullshit that Harvard wants them to digest. That's why he's still there. He's got friends in the right places. Right? That's how this all works. You know, that's how it all works. If Joe Schmo was locked up, was friends with Epstein, and Joe Schmo wasn't anybody, I bet you Joe Schmo would be in jail. But because friends are friends are friends are friends, and they're all connected and they're intertwined, everyone gets away with bullshit, and this guy could still stay in a classroom teaching young children, which are just probably a little bit older than the age of the victims that were sexually abused by his friend, Mr. Epstein. So it's definitely a great spot for this guy to be in. This dude is definitely dirty. It's definitely going to come out. And then I would love to see what Harvard's going to say about it. Because you don't step away from stuff if you're innocent. You don't step away. You know what you do? You know what you do when you're innocent? You double down. You dig your feet in and you fight. And you say, bullshit, I did nothing wrong here. Oh, no, I just had a text message with the guy. Nope, because it's deeper. And once they start peeling away the layers at it, he knows it. Harvard knows it. Everyone knows it. That's why he's going away quickly as he can. But he's not being forced out of the classroom yet, which is so freaking bizarre. But when you think about how they operate, it's really not. It's really not. I want to keep infiltrating the school system. I want to keep infiltrating higher ed. I want to keep programming these useful idiots coming out of college. So yeah, he'll stay in there as long as he can, and as long as Harvard isn't forced to move him. You know? As long as Harvard's not forced to move him, he ain't going anywhere. He ain't going anywhere. Collecting his six-figure paycheck, teaching these kids. Right? Because he's leaning, oh, I was the former U.S. Secretary of Treasury. I know a lot. Yeah, you were peddling kids with Bill Clinton. Enough with the bullshit. Enough with the bullshit. Right? But none of that's going to come out right away. Right? It's going to be another year or two before we hear anything about this guy. Guarantee. Because that's how they do it. They slow walk everything. They slow walk everything. You want some of these other survivors to possibly have accidents so they don't disappear. You know, like slow walk everything. Megyn Kelly. I like Megyn Kelly for the most part. She had a very, very insightful comment about the Epstein Files and the media connections to it. And she would know. She was in the media. Cut 7, please.
Here's what I want to know. Why was Katie Couric, why was George Stephanopoulos at Epstein's home in 2010, chumming it up, having dinner with him after he pleaded guilty to solicitation of sex with a minor, which, as I've said countless times, is not a thing. There's no such thing as a minor prostitute. That's rape. That's what that is. But they allowed him to plead guilty to that. It was on the record. And by the way, Katie Couric knows full well that you cannot solicit a minor prostitute. That's rape. So does George Stephanopoulos. He's really big on cross-examining Nancy Mace on how Trump raped E. Jean Carroll, which is a lie that cost ABC News $16 million. So George Stephanopoulos knows full well the definition of that word, and yet he went anyway. Those two journalists, NBC and ABC respectively, went and sat with Jeffrey Epstein at his home where these alleged crimes occurred for dinner, knowing all of that. And these holier-than-thou media outlets like CNN, The Daily Beast, and so on, where is their outrage about that? Truly, why aren't they asking questions about people like that who openly fraternized with him? You know, I will give a shout out to Tina Brown of the Daily Beast on one thing. She wrote some interesting profile on why all these celebs had zero problem fraternizing with Jeffrey Epstein, even after we knew he was a pervert and a rapist. And it was basically they don't care. The only thing they don't want to be seen around, she wrote, is people who are poor. They were more interested in rubbing elbows with the rich guy, notwithstanding his love of raping young.
Yeah. 100%, right? Like they there's two separate groups of people in society, the haves and the have-nots, regardless if we're in communist or free market America. The haves are have-nots, the elites and the non-elites, right? That's where we are. And the elites don't give a shit what the other elites do because they're elites. And they get to get to be seen with each other, get to be photographed with each other, get to hit each other up on social media, make it look like they're bigger than what they actually are and then better than the actual rot they are inside. They would rather... Katie Couric and George Stephanopoulos would rather be seen with a pedophile trafficking young women for sex than with a bum on the street asking for a smoke or asking for a dollar. Because that's what perception is to them. I would rather be with the wealthy, shittiest people in the world instead of being connected with real ground struggling people because you look poor. And that's the mentality. That's the problem. I'm better than you. Look down upon Jack Smith in the street, looking down Pat Hogarty in the street, look at Damon, look at all these guys in the street. They're nobodies. Even though they're good, hardworking people, good, hardworking men, they may be not wealthy, but, they provide for their family, they work hard. You're poor, you're a loser. That's how they look at you. That's how they look at you. If you're poor, you're a loser. You don't matter. If your bank account doesn't have 7 figures, 2 commas, if you don't got some crypto stash, you don't got 100,000 followers on Instagram, Facebook, X, you're a loser. And I'd rather be seen with a pedophile because it's better for my image somehow in America. Go figure. Go figure. But that shows you the rot of our society. It just shows you doing what's right doesn't matter. It does matter. Don't get me wrong. It does matter. Doing the right thing is doing the right thing, and it does matter on the daily basis. But for the people above you that look down upon you, they don't give 2 shits. You're poor. I don't give a shit if you do good or bad. You're poor. I don't give a shit about you. And that's legitimately how it's viewed. We are here for their pleasure. We are here to serve them. We are here to make them laugh. We are here to be their sexual playmates. We are here for their enjoyment. That's how we're looked at. We are the useful idiots according to the elitists. And the more and more and more we go on and on and on, it becomes more and more and more apparent just of how awfully true that is. It's hard doing the right thing every day. It's tiring. But I could sleep well. I could sleep good at night, rest my head on my pillow. I'm a good guy. I'm raising my boy to be a good man, right? I'm trying to make a difference on that level. But those up top don't give a shit what us down below like that are doing. We're just useful idiots. They don't want to help us here, there, or any which way there. But they'll help their boy who's peddling young females or get connected with him because they want some of his power, some of his clout, some of his playmates, sickos. Right? People like sniffing the butthole. Joe says it, and it's true. They like sniffing the butthole. Get a little closer. And some of them like tasting the butthole. And then you cross the line, and then you get into the shit that these people did with Epstein, which is just absolute rotten filth. That news anchors would actually go sit with a guy after he pled guilty to raping a minor. And as Megyn said, that's no minor prostitution. That's rape. Straight up rape. But it shows you the clout he has. It shows you the protection he had because he was working for other people. And they needed to keep him on the street. They needed him to keep doing what he was doing to recruit more people into his fold so that they could be controlled. And then once they had enough and they were done with him, they got him arrested. Then they killed him in jail. No way he killed himself in jail. The video glitches, wrong videos being posted. Right? Hey, let's not forget about that stuff too. Go back to it earlier in the year when the FBI was releasing the footage from Epstein's jail cell, this, that, and the other thing, but it was the wrong jail cell. It was the camera pointing the wrong way at the wrong door. Right? So even all that bullshit back then in February, March, people were like, oh, we'll just give them the benefit of the doubt. No, it's freaking deliberate what they're doing. The stench is real. The stench is real. Media outlets send their top anchors, top talent to go sit with him at his apartment where he raped young females, and it's okay. This is the moral compass. Our moral compass in our country is broken by the leaders. It's not the moral compass of the everyday folk down on the ground floor. I truly believe the moral compass of the majority of Americans is in a good spot. The moral compass of the people up top is freaking corroded and shot to shit. Instead of facing due north, it's facing due south. Like, it is just morally corrupt to its core. Morally corrupt to its core. Just absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Megyn Kelly's right hitting on this. 100% right. Those journalists. Yeah. Unbelievable. Just absolutely unbelievable. So Jena-Lisa Jones is another survivor of the Epstein saga, Epstein betrayal, Epstein disgusting behavior. Like, Epstein trafficking, whatever you want to, like, just awful, disgusting treatment of females for the benefit of older, wealthy men. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So she was a victim, and she was on CNN the other night, and she was asked a question, and she threw a perfectly legitimate response, actually, towards President Trump from this. Play cut 8, please.
In your head, yes, when Congressman Khanna is saying that the president should have you and the other survivors there when he signs this bill.
He owes us that much. He owes us an apology. For sure, and I think that would be one way of showing some remorse for this drawn-out process that didn't need to be.
And you don't see this in a political way. I was listening to you this morning. You said you voted for President Trump, actually, but your plea was to stop making this about him and to essentially start making it about y'all.
Yeah, I mean, he really ran his campaign on this. This is why I voted for him. This release of these files has been so important to me for so long that when he ran with that, I really had some hope that someone was going to do something about it, no matter what the motive was, right, behind it, that he was going to release them and so solidarity with us. But then he completely flipped, and I mean, he was even working with our lawyers and stuff. So it was really hard to go from helping us to completely turning on us and then calling it a Democratic hoax when he knew it wasn't. So he thought it was just a political play, and I think that was wrong, and I think that added fuel to the fire against both parties and where it didn't need to be.
Yeah. Victim sums it up pretty well right there. He was helping us. Flip-flop. Doesn't need to be a long, drawn-out process, right? Why is all this happening? Why did all of this happen? It shouldn't be this complicated. Why is it this complicated? We know. You know, we know why it's complicated, but they'll never say it. They'll word salad it up. They'll word slice it. They'll put their own spin on it, making it about the Democrats, this, that, and the other thing. There was a huge sex trafficking ring that was going on for years. Women were exploited. I'm sorry, young women were exploited. Young women were assaulted. Young women were raped and trafficked throughout the world for this man's benefit, for others' benefits. These victims deserve justice, and it makes zero sense why it's carrying out this long. Zero justice. And it's both sides. It's not just the Democrats, it's the Republicans too. President Trump, you've been in charge for 10 months. You've had both, you have the House, you have the Senate, you have the DOJ, right? Like, it shouldn't have been this way. Why did it go this way? It does not need to be this way, but it is, which makes me very concerned for what the next 1, 2, and 3 years are going to look like. Because if we can't just simply acknowledge that this happened and here's the facts of the case, when it's so cut and dry with so many survivors speaking out about the realities of what they experienced, And why, like, we can't trust that? Like, this is cut and dry, real simple, real easy. This happened. Here are the survivors. We'll tell you everything. We've told you everything. We've been interviewed already. You got another person in jail that was sentenced to jail with her ties to the trafficking of kids for sex trafficking, Ghislaine Maxwell. So, like, why is this the way it is? Because it's messy. Rich, powerful people involved. Rich, powerful people don't want accountability. And now they're exerting political pressure onto the president in the United States. And he caved. He caved to it for a while. Calling it a Democratic hoax, right? Like you heard Jena-Lisa's hurt in that interview. Like, she was hurt by that. You can't call that a hoax. People coming out and saying, I was sexually abused, you can't call that a hoax. There's too many of them to say that they're making it up. Oh, it's a Democratic. There's no Democratic hoax. It happened. And these women want justice, and they're not hopefully going to get some sort of it soon. I don't know. Of course, we'll be following it here. We're going to see how this plays out. But, yeah. And, you know, like, well, we hear Democrats this, Democrats that. Well, the Republicans are just as guilty of the stench, of the rot. I don't like saying it, right? But Jasmine Crockett called out Kristi Noem the other day, because Kristi Noem might be funneling some DHS funds to a consulting company she's tied to, right? So, like, it just constantly keeps going on and on and on. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. The rot is what the rot is. The stench is what the stench is. The corruption is what the corruption is. And all in the while, it's us little folks down here, the ones working 9 to 5, 7 to 10, right? Our 10, 11, 12-hour days work, just trying to put food on the table. We're the suckers. We're the useful idiots. We're the slaves. We're the peasants. We're the plebeians of Rome, right? They keep us happy. Here's a little distraction. You got your football on Sundays. Go do that. Got the Super Bowl coming up in February. Go do that. Make sure we still have food in the supermarket. That's important, because if the food stops, then they're really going to have problems. But let's play cut 9. Jasmine Crockett, at an oversight hearing, dropped some information about Kristi Noem, calling out possibly her misuse of funds. Let's take a listen.
Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. Not only has Secretary Noem been busy filming propaganda ads, she's also been busy cashing in on millions of taxpayer dollars. In fact, Secretary Noem has funneled millions of dollars to a company called the Strategy Group. The Strategy Group helped Secretary Noem win her campaign to become the governor of South Dakota. Corey Lewandowski, her top policy advisor, has worked with the firm. And the company's CEO is married to Secretary Noem's chief spokesperson, Mrs. Tricia McLaughlin. This is what corruption looks like. They're stealing money from the American people's pockets and depositing it into their bank accounts.
So, yeah. And I know who the source is on this, right? We know Crockett. She's a little crazy. She didn't have her accent there. I don't know what happened, but that ghetto accent that she has did not come out there. She was actually pretty calm and collective and can actually understand the words she was saying there. So respect, good for you, good for you. It's nice to make sure you can articulate your ideas when you're a member of the House. But to dig into this a little bit, ProPublica actually printed an wrote about it. And we have the article here. I see Damon's pulling it up now, but yeah. So apparently a firm connected to Noem Strategy Group and her aides, run by her chief DHS spokesperson's husband, secretly secured a significant portion of the contract without transparent justification. The firm allegedly received millions in taxpayer funds, raising questions about the non-competitive award process and potential misuse of public money. Basically, they didn't accept open bidding for contracts. Because as part of government contracts, you go through an open bidding process where you submit a bid, and then the government looks at the bids. Oh, this is the cheapest one, best one I can deal with. Bing, I'll take this one. So allegedly, Noem didn't do any of that when it came to offering a government contract from the government to Strategy Group. There was no open bid process. She just took DHS money, handed it to Strategy Group to film some commercials for her. That could be a real problem. Okay, that's illegal. But we'll see. We'll see if that actually, if anything comes from that. Okay, because the report highlights conflicts of interest and cronyism, suggesting Nome's administration favored connected entities instead of more of a free market approach, where other companies are able to place bids for government contracts. So that's stench, man. Stench of the swamp's everywhere. Stench of the swamp is everywhere. And we're here. We're here. I don't know what it's like to pick up a call and like, hey, what can we do with a couple mil here, a couple mil there? Like, I've never been on a phone call like that. And I have no idea where to even start with it. I wouldn't even know what to say. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Right? But yeah, you know, it's all part of our society. The elites and the non-elites. And that's kind of where it is today. The elites love the swamp. The elites are in the swamp. Us on the outside are not part of the swamp. We hate the stench of the swamp because we see what the swamp's doing to us. Because at the end of the day, what winds up happening, right? Those elites, they're so wealthy, they're so powerful. It doesn't matter to them who's in charge in this country, right? Let's be honest. It doesn't matter to them, right? Any decision that's made by our government, by our elected officials, literally has no impact on those people. Open borders, no impact on them. Why? Because they got their freaking private property, they got their acres of land, they got their private security detail, right? They don't have to deal with the everyday bumper-to-bumper bullshit we have to deal with, right? So the things that we have to deal with every day that our government decides for us, they never have to deal with, ever. Lifetime pension, lifetime health care, bam, right on the taxpayer dime. Billionaires of companies. And don't get me wrong, right? I get companies, all right? I get Apple, great company, made products we all use. I understand all that. I get it, right? I'm not hating on the companies. I'm hating of the mentality of the people in charge of those companies because they don't see themselves as being directly impacted by our government. What they see is manipulating our government for their multiple income, to maximize the value for their shareholders. Right? Tevi talked about that yesterday. That was a great interview with that dude. I really enjoyed Tevi yesterday. I hope you guys did too. But like at the end of the day, they're not impacted by any of this. They're not impacted by 20 million illegal immigrants coming across the border over the past 4 years. They're not impacted by it. Because if they're a regular American that needs medical care, that needs to get an emergency room right away, they're impacted by it. Someone that has $100 million that needs medical attention right away, not impacted by it. Why? Because they can pick up the phone and get it right away because they got the money to get it. So it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. You have the elites and you have the non-elites. And us non-elites make up the majority of this population, but we get treated like the trash. Like we're useful idiots. Like we're mouth breathers that don't have ability to think. Are you kidding me? I could argue we do more good than they do. Just because they have more money does not mean they do more good than we do. Us regular folks are the heart and soul of this country, and we are being strangled and stomped out on because of these elitists up top that think the rules apply to thee, not me. Right? Like Kristi Noem, I'm very surprised at this. But you also got, Cash Money Patel taking private jets on booty calls. Ain't no way that's his girlfriend free willingly. Like, that is no way cross-eyed. Like, no way that's happening, dude. Are you for real? Like, let's be honest here. Right? Right? Come on. That's not passing the sniff test either. I'm smelling bullshit on that one, too. He ain't pulling that. He has no ability to pull that. Dude's not funny. Can't form coherent sentences without searching for the right words to say because he knows his ass is compromised. Right? It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. The elitists look down upon us. The government swamp looks down upon us. And what the sad freaking part's going to be is that the swamp is going to kill us and suffocate us out. And they're not going to have to deal with the repercussions of it because they'll have enough money to change and do whatever the hell they need to do. But us regular Joe Schmoes down here, we're going to get absolutely crushed, steamrolled, and shitted on because of them. And that's the freaking truth. I want to end the show with this clip today. Damon, just throw it up. We'll talk about it afterwards, but this clip is money. Just put them on, please.
Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. You know something? They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting by a system that threw them overboard 30 years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich suckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't.
Man ahead of his times, George Carlin. That segment sums it up perfectly. I believe that was late 90s, early 2000s. Like, it's at least 20 years old, that clip. And he's 100% right. They don't give an F about you. They want more for them, less for you. More for them, less for you. More costs go up, doesn't matter to them. More for them, less for you. We are useful idiots. We're not part of the club, baby. They're part of the club. And he's right. And I don't know how we change this other than just stay informed. Okay? That's why we do this here at Untamed Nation. We bring you information day in, day out, 5 days a week, because we want you to be informed. Okay? Independent media, social media, like, social media has its negatives, but a positive with social media is that it allows the independent media to get the actual facts out there, to break the narrative of the cycles that the regular media is putting out there, right? Social media broke the media's back. Social media woke up a lot of people in this country, but yet those in charge still think we're idiots and we don't understand. They either think we're idiots and we don't understand, or they know we understand and they don't give a shit and they're going to keep doing what they're doing. Either way, bottom line is they don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about any of us. They want what's for them, not for us. End of story. There's a bigger game being played out on a bigger stage that we don't have the answers to. We don't even have access to that game. We just know that game's going to impact us every day. Right? We're fighting every day. Every day we're fighting. Okay, we're fighting here, we're fighting in the courts, we're fighting online. We have to keep fighting. Keep spreading awareness, keep spreading information. Eventually the dam's going to break. Eventually everything's going to be fully exposed, or they're going to have to cripple all of us. One or the other, the dam's going to have to break. Because the swamp, it is just ever encumbersome, and people see it, people know it, you can't ignore it. Right? You can't do it all. So my question is, President Trump, what's your move? What's next? Where do we go from here? What's the next one? What's the next thing that's going to happen that the American people deserve to know, but yet we're not going to be told? Okay, Charlie Kirk's assassination is still in the forefront of my mind. That was one of the most gruesome murders I've ever seen in my life, witnessed across live streaming all over the world. And we're just told, nope, furry on top of the roof shot him. A tranny-loving furry, a furry-loving tranny or whatever on top of the building took that shot and killed him. And if you question it, shut up, sit down, go away. Nope, he did it. End of story. Even if that is the truth, you need to give the perception of a proper investigation for us to believe you. You're not even doing that. Which makes me question is why? What's the swamp's connection to that? Is there a swamp connection to that? We'll see. Be curious to see what happens to Tyler Robinson. Does he get the Jeffrey Epstein treatment eventually? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. I have a feeling that kid can't speak. I have a feeling they don't want him to speak. But we'll see. But yeah, there's a big club and we're not part of it. So let's make our own club right here. We have our loyal followers. Let's spread the word. Let's grow us. Let's grow our followers. Let's create our club here. And eventually, let's start knocking on the elitist door. We got big mouths here. Let's make it happen. What do you say, Untamed Nation? Let's keep this. Let's grow. Let's get our own club. Let's build that club and grow that club. Because we're going to need it. Can't depend on our government to help us. Got to depend on ourselves. Those are my thoughts for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. The stench was absolutely real. It's still real. I still smell it, right? It's stuck in the nose, right? It's like after you drive through an area farm and you just get whop. Cow manure just comes through the car, permeates all in the car, gets in your nose, gets stuck on your nostril hairs, and you're tasting it even though you passed it 10 minutes ago, right? That's kind of what I feel. The stench is always here now. The stench is just here. It's in my face all the time. Stench is in my face all the time. We need to get this cleaned up because we're not going to have a country if it doesn't. I truly believe that. And that's what I'm fearful for. And that's why I'm fighting every day. Fight here with Joe. Fight my own battles in the courts. That's the only way. You got to fight. If you don't fight, they'll fight you and then you'll get steamrolled. So you have to fight. All right, let me pray us out for the day. Dear Lord, thank you for another day above ground. Thank you for the for the beautiful air, beautiful nature scenery. Thank you for the love of my family. Thank you for having a job. Please, Lord, give us the patience and the will to keep up the good fight. Please do not allow us to get defeated in these hard times, even though it seems dark. It's always darkest before the dawn, Lord. Please provide us the strength and will to keep pushing. Please, Lord, provide the strength and goodwill inside our political leaders to begin doing the right thing, to turn a corner, to restore this nation to the great nation it once was. Please, Lord, continue to watch over all of the people in their battles moving forward in this awful war of good versus bad. Please, Lord, continue to protect us and hold us close. Please, Lord, continue to offer support and watch over Dave and his family during their times of struggle. Lord, please continue to provide love and support and strength to Tina as she continues to sit in jail. And Lord, please give the people that are in charge of that, of Tina in jail, give them the clear conscience and the strong will to finally do what's right and get her out and get her to the medical attention and care she needs. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Thanks for joining us today. I don't think you shouldn't be seeing me tomorrow. I should be behind the scenes tomorrow. Joe should be right here. Have a good night, everyone. Stay frosty, stay informed, keep up the good fight. We'll see you tomorrow at Untamed Nation. Have a good night.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real, no more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave